Good afternoon and welcome everyone. It's an honor to be here. And first and foremost, I want to just everyone, if you don't mind, if you can put in your name and where you're from. I'm actually here from the Pittsburgh area. So if you can put in your name and what your organization affiliation is in the chat, we'd greatly appreciate it. But before I go on any further, I want to welcome our executive director, Chad Lessiter, and make sure that he wants to give any welcoming opening remarks for this afternoon.
Yes, certainly. First and foremost, I want to thank all of you who have availed yourself to be here for our PHRC Lunch and Learn. Secondly, I want to thank the Director of Communications, Amanda Brothman, and our Civil Rights Outreach Coordinator, Anita Levels, and others who have organized this. I want everyone to just be mindful that there are a lot of things that are happening on the federal level, but you heard Anita use the word honor. It's an honor and with utmost humility that we are your top civil rights enforcing agency. For those of you who work at the PHRC, you understand who we are. For those of you who are outside of the PHRC, we are here for you. And so please make sure that you follow us on social media. Make sure that you critique us as well. Critique us with forthcoming recommendations on how we can be better doing the work that we do here in this space. And so once again, we are excited to have our speaker here this afternoon. And I'd be remiss if I did not thank our ASL interpreters who are here as well. It's a discipline, it's an art form, and it's something that sorely is needed in this space. And so we're happy that we're able to do this. The last thing I'll say is that we know that at the present time, the Commonwealth has a budget impasse. But we also know that we're here to continue to soar for justice. And so events like this are just as important in this moment against the backdrop of a budget impasse and so much political divisiveness. And so may we be attentive throughout, may we be present, and if you have to drop off, please understand that that's certainly okay because of our amazing director of communications, this lives in the virtual space. It'll be on our PHRC YouTube page. So once again, Anita, thank you for organizing this. For the speaker, I'm excited to be in this space to listen, to learn from you. And once again, everyone, thank you for being here and welcome.
Thank you, Executive Director Lassiter. Thank you for being with us and just continuing to echo what he's saying. Thank you. It's an honor to be in this space here, and I'm looking forward to having Director Contrell Armour here with us. So without any further ado, I'm going to quickly read the bio. The Pennsylvania Statewide Afterschool Youth Development Network is one of 50 statewide networks supported by the Mott Foundation, with over 30 years of experience in youth development. Director Contrell is dedicated to advancing high quality, sustainable out of school time programs across Pennsylvania. Previously, he served as a youth development coordinator at the Center for Schools and Communities, supporting schools and community-based organizations in implementing academic, artistic, and cultural programs under Title IV, Part B. Contrell holds a BS in psychology from Albright College and an MS in Organizational Development and Leadership from Shippensburg University. He also volunteers with the U.S. Department of Justice Community Relations Service in helping address racial and ethnic conflict in schools. He's a passionate mentor. He remains committed to empowering youth and families in his community. So it is an honor that we welcome Contrell Armour, Director Contrell Armour today as he speaks with us regarding after-school programming within Pennsylvania.
All right, thank you very much for that warm greeting there. Give me 1 second and I'm going to share my screen so all can see the PowerPoint. One second. Here we go. All right, how are we doing? Can you see my slide deck?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right, here we go. So I'd like to first thank the commission for this opportunity on this Lunch and Learn to share about the out of school time or in summer programs here in Pennsylvania, as this space has become not only just important, but essential for our students, families, and workforce development. Real quick about me, I'm the middle child of 7, father of 3. Grew up on the south side of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and was close to the Boys and Girls Club and was what we call a club kid back in the 1980s. I then transitioned or relocated to the uptown Harrisburg area, which was neighboring the YMCA, where I came back in 1990 after 2 years of small school to give back under this out of school time and summer program umbrella. From there, my journey moved to a family educator and program director for a community-based organization here in Harrisburg. I'd like to just point out family educator in the out of school time space in my position included actual visits to the family's homes to bridge those gaps and communication between the students and the schools. From there, my journey took me to the public school district as an administrator for out of school time, which then led me to the intermediary space as a consultant for 21st century grantee programs. I wanted to quickly just outline my journey because this work is not only part of my identity and lived experiences, it is what allows me to move in this space with authenticity and lead with great purpose. Beyond the Veil, the power and promise of out of school time in PA. So as director, I'm more than grateful to activate this mission of promoting sustainable, high quality out of school time youth development programs through advocacy efforts and capacity building to enhance the welfare of Pennsylvania's children, youth, and families. Cannot do this work by myself. We do have a professional learning and instruction coordinator position at the network currently. Holding that is Aisha Spradley. We are excited for the work that she brings, as well as a specialist to help bring around a lot of our projects full circle. Opening and purpose. So what OST is and why it matters will be what we cover today, along with the focus in those programs of the education opportunities, the equity that must be present, and also the work development impact that it has, not only for the parents that are working at those times of the days and nights, but also the workforce development that students can also gain in this space during their time in out of school time programs. So let's talk about what is OST or out of school time. You may hear different jargons or different terms that identify the space, but when we talk about out of school time, we're talking about before school starts, right? Because we know some parents, jobs don't start when school does. It might start a couple hours early. So we need to have before school. We have also after school is defined as out of school time. You might also hear extended learning opportunities. That would be part of out of school time in Pennsylvania. I led a few times talking about summer programs. So we don't say summer school anymore. We don't want the space in the summertime to be in any way targeted as a challenge or even more school in our students' eyes. So we want to make sure that we do include summer programming as part of out of school time, as well as weekends is defined in out of school time, and then our places or definition, right? So the safe, enriching, and supportive. That is what out of school time is defined as. You may also hear terminology around informal learning spaces or environments. That is all inclusive of out of school time. I'd like to quickly just give a visual of the state here map of what Pennsylvania's out of school time consists of, our regional map. This does cover all 67 counties. Pennsylvania, as you all are aware, is a very large state. We have those counties broken up into 8 different regions, not only to identify programming, but also to understand the different resources that are needed in each particular region, where regions 1 and regions 3 look a lot different than regions 7 and 8. But we want to make sure as a statewide provider that we are inclusive, but also intentional in the resources that we deliver throughout the state. So again, just a visual there. When you hear me talking about out of school time in Pennsylvania, it is one of the larger states in the country and one of the greater states that actually have a line item for out of school time, but I'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. So let's drill down a little bit about what out of school time in Pennsylvania looks like. We have a high unmet demand and need for this space. So for every child that we do have enrolled in out of school time in Pennsylvania, there are 4 more students that are on a waiting list to get in. So that leaves us with more than 700,000 students that would attend an after school program if one was afforded to them. There is wide community reach here in out of school time through a return on investment study completed by the Joint State Government Commission back in 2021. It revealed that every dollar in PA invested in out of school time would save $6.69 by decreasing, as you can read, high school dropout, teenage pregnancy, substance use, and crime. We know here in Pennsylvania and across the country that out of school time programs and those hours out of school time are high times for students to engage in unwanted or delinquent behaviors. So rather than saying don't do it, what are we offering our students in that space? So here's what we're going to talk a little bit about. Understanding that the out of school time providers can be in the schools, it could be a community-based organization. It happens in our local libraries and even faith-based organizations. So in my kind of follow-up or in my who I was, I identified the Boys and Girls Club as attending as a club kid, and I identified the YMCA. Those are considered statewide providers when we talk about out of school time. They have many sites throughout the state, tagged Boys and Girls Club or YMCA. But I do want us to understand that the schools have now adopted these spaces. Again, the community-based organizations, as well as libraries, faith-based organizations, and I'll even include institutions of higher learning throughout the state that have made room for the out of school time learner. So when we have students in these spaces, what is the impact? What is happening in out of school? When I was in a Boys and Girls Club, yes, it was jump rope, hopscotch, and kickball. That's what we did, and we had a lot of fun with it. But I want us to understand now where we're at, that we have moved the out of school time space in a different direction. And while we do still offer and encourage the jump rope, kickball, and hopscotch, we do want to make sure that we're leaving room to support our students in the academic areas. So we are more than, out of school time is more than just homework help. It's important in our rollout of programs that we have these conversations with the parents because we don't want to take away any responsibilities from that parent in the home. As spelled out homework, students are encouraged to do that at home because parents should be part of that process. So while we'll offer time for homework, we really, again, encourage families to be part of that learning process and not to necessarily expect homework to be done when a student comes home from after school, but expect that your student has the proper materials for that work together. Out of school time programs impact our students around social and emotional growth. What's happening in the classroom is timed. And not that there's not a time limit in not that there's a time limit in out of school, but in out of school time, it really gives the educator and the student an opportunity to practice those teamwork skills learned in the classroom and/or that resilience that we talk about so often. So the social emotional growth just complements our students to be able to help them make the strides either academically and socially. We want to talk about enrichment activities that students are welcome to join in that out of school time space. So I alluded to that in outlining the map and all of the different regions that make up Pennsylvania's out of school time. So we want to make sure that the enrichment activities are kind of catered or tailored to that particular community or to that particular program's needs. You'll hear a lot about STEM in after school. That's science, technology, engineering, and math. We can add the A in there and call it STEAM, which is adding the arts to it. But unlike the regular school day where teachers are driving the curriculum in through text and through worksheets and sometimes hands-on, this is where the STEM actually begins to take off, is when students can put their hands on it because we then know that their minds are on it. So what am I saying with all that? As great as our teachers are and the great education and great outreach that they're pouring into our students during the regular school day time, the out of school time space allows students to actually put a lot of that education into action, or in other words, connected to the real world experiences. We know that the STEM curriculum in the STEM area is the way to go to career exploration. And what I mean in that is just at every left and right turn that we take around job employment, future needs for the economy, somewhere in that job description, it has something around science, technology, engineering, or math. And we just want to bring that alive in the out of school time space as that connection to real world is happening at every point in our students' lives. From how they open up the door and how that swings back and forth from the electronic device that they pick up, it all is connected to STEM. And in out of school, we have the time and the space to bring that real life to our students. I mentioned jump rope, kickball, and hopscotch, three of my favorites. So yes, we still do that. We still look at the overall health and wellness benefits in the out of school time. We do that through nutrition, and we can do that through direct exercise. And enrichment, I'll take a half step back. When we talk about an enrichment activity like culinary, so we may have students want to bake a cake or bake brownies. There is so much reading, there is so much math with measuring, there is so much teamwork, there is observation, there's all of those pieces in making brownies that connect to both nutrition and then again, just around that enrichment activity that incorporates reading, math, and the sciences. We're going to take a little bit of dive here into the out of school time impact on our communities. So I mentioned earlier around the return on investment study. I will drop that in the chat momentarily, but that again was conducted by the Pennsylvania Joint State Government Commission. Real quick, how did we get to that return on investment? Because those can be a little bit tough to get done. PSAYDN is celebrating its 20-year anniversary in existence and advocating for this space. So in the inception of 2004, it took up until 2021 to get this return on investment study. How did that happen? It happened by the formation of the Afterschool Caucus here in Pennsylvania that then requested for that study to be done that gave us the $1 invested, save $6.69. When we talk about safer neighborhoods, we are talking about avoiding the high school dropout, the teenage pregnancy, the substance use, and then the crime. We know that OST has an impact in our communities because it has strong support from our families. When we look at our economy, when we talk about the impact in our community, you'll see here that 81% of Pennsylvania parents say that OST helps them keep their jobs. So I mentioned around the before school that jobs don't start when school starts. Sometimes they start a lot earlier, and we need to provide that space and security for students, for their working family. You also see here a percentage, mid-80s, around Pennsylvania parents saying that the programs give them a peace of mind while they're working. So I don't know about you, but when I have a peace of mind at work, I'm a little bit more productive in my job or in my work. So providing these safe learning spaces for students while parents are working, again, gives them the peace of mind that can then enhance their job productivity. Take a little bit deeper dive on the workforce development connection. Again, in the out of school time, it allows for students to take field trips. It allows students to attend career fairs, do job shadowing, internships, entrepreneurship opportunities. I'm going to talk about one of those projects that the network is currently working on, but workforce development connection in out of school time. I always like to think about the second grader who's asked, what do they want to be when they grow up? And then when the next time that question is really asked about what steps did they take or how is that coming along? In other words, in out of school time, we want to take the idea of the young man or young lady that wants to be a construction worker, and we want to work with them all the way through stacking Legos to stacking blocks to stacking chairs to whatever that career could end up being. But here we want to just definitely give that opportunity to expose career exploration. 21st century skills are also a point of interest in the out of school time space. So when we talk about the critical thinking and problem solving, the digital literacy that our students are now engaged with day to day, those are all those 21st century skills that we want to begin to build a pipeline for our students to the workforce. And then again, just aligning our out of school time with the workforce needs. Not what we say we need, but what the students say that they need to thrive in this space. I'm going to touch quickly on the out of school time as, again, a talent pipeline for our student. We know that it prepares our youth for high demand jobs in high demand sectors. Our sectors around agriculture, energy, manufacturing, robotics, and just overall life sciences. We also want to look at, when we talk about out of school, there's major focus on the students, major focus on the provider, as where that space is happening, but we can't forget about the out of school time staff, right? Those that are pouring into our students during those after hours when the school bell rings. And I've been bearing witness to this where many of the youth development or youth development practitioners that work at the out of school time programs weren't interested necessarily to teach in a traditional classroom, but they're finding their talent in this space. They're finding that connection in this space, and they're seeing how they're able to move students through different character building services or activities, and then want to actually begin to teach a curriculum. So what am I getting at here is we want to start looking at and drafting some policy here at the network of how we can support the out of school time worker, the youth development coordinator, and provide them a pipeline if they would like to teach in the classroom. Now that pipeline in no way would water down the teacher profession. They would need to go through each of the steps to be a certified teacher. But I just see so much talent in this out of school time space. And with the teacher shortage that not only Pennsylvania, but the country is facing, I think this might be a way for us to tap into a kind of chartered land or talent for the regular school day teacher through our out of school time program. So support for our out of school time staff, not just by saying thank you, but also again allowing some pipeline for career advancement leading to the classroom. I want to quickly just outline two projects that the network currently has on deck for this 25-26 school year. Now, because we are not a youth serving agency, our projects go through different funders or grants that we write and are awarded. So just this past August of 2025, the After School Network here in Pennsylvania was awarded a Spark grant to support youth entrepreneurship. So I want to give a big shout out to my Venture Labs, who is the funder for that grant application. And what is so exciting about this entrepreneurship and with the youth is that we're going to look to engage several programs throughout the state and support those programs through technical assistance to help students explore and grow in the entrepreneur area. So I know many of us probably know about Tank as an entrepreneur kind of on stage. That is the watered down version of entrepreneurship. In other words, we want to take our students, when we talk about entrepreneurship, beyond the problem solving stage, right? So here's the challenge. What can we do to mitigate that or fix it? Once that solution is kind of identified, here's where the entrepreneurship comes in, because we want our students to think now, what opportunities are here in supporting that solution? So it gets a little deep, but that's where our students are at, is not just solving the problem, but then now what opportunity do I have to add to support to this solution? So we are excited about this new entrepreneurship for our students in the out of school time space to take on. Our other project to mention here would be our STEM Ambassadors Special Project 2 to come here in the 25-26 school year. This again is around the out of school time staff and helping to develop them professionally. So what we're going to look here to do is recruit about 6 to 10 statewide STEM ambassadors. We're going to put them through, not put them through, but we're going to welcome them through a series of trainings that will help support their STEM in their particular region or area. Not so much to talk about that now, but I will welcome you back to our website in a couple of months so you can see and identify who those STEM ambassadors are, where their regions are, and some of the particular deliverables that they'll be also tasked with in that cohort. I want to mention that one of our main projects this year as well is our education and awareness campaign. That kicked off in the month of August, so we're only 2 sessions in, but we are going to go through the month of June. There we meet once a month. It's the 3rd Thursday of every month at 11 o'clock to bring our out of school time staff and programs up to speed around high recommendations or highly recommended activities or recommendations for their programs. Also, just keeping them abreast to the policy updates and the changes that are happening that impact out of school at the federal level and then also at the state level. So I will provide a QR code before we log off here at lunch for you to click onto so you can see the different titles for the next several months. And I really hope and welcome that everyone on here attends and you pass it on as well. Now we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, right? Like, how do we get all of that stuff to happen? We need some type of funding. We need some money for this to happen. So first, let's look at the state. At the state level, Pennsylvania is one of 28 states around the country that has an allocated line item in its state budget for out of school time. So in other words, there are half of the country does not have dedicated funding from their state budget for out of school time. That leaves those states, and then drilling down all the way to the local and community level at a very hard stop on how much programming they can offer or whether or not they can offer programming at all. So not saying it in any type of bragging way, but yes, Pennsylvania is one of the leaders across the country in out of school time. And it's not just because of the funding, but what we offer in this space. But I do want to bring to attention that we are one of the 28 states that does have funding. That funding is allocated through the Commission on Crime and Delinquency, the PCCD, under their gun violence prevention measures. So that those dollars are tagged under BOOST, BOOST, standing for Building Opportunities Through Out of School Time. In 2024, again, that's after 20 years of advocacy, $11.5 million was allocated in the state of Pennsylvania for out of school time. Now, I don't want to mess with none of my screen here, but I want to give an applause to that because I can't imagine that someone on this Lunch and Learn wasn't part of this investment in regards to championing programs or speaking up to your local legislators about the importance and about the importance of out of school time. So real quick, of that 11.5 million, they were able to get 46 programs funded. Now, 2 of those programs were statewide, so that was your Boys and Girls Club and your YMCAs. So if we take away the statewide providers, there are only 44 programs that were awarded these dollars. Now, when I say only, while I'm excited that we have 44 new programs operating in this space, I'm also encouraged from the number of applicants that applied for this funding to do after school programs, to support their after school programs. So we're talking grassroots, whether it's from in a faith-based organization or grassroots that's happened in the local library. There were over 285 applications submitted for that $11.5 million. I think the total dollar amount was over 55 million. So more than 5 times of what was allocated was asked for. It just shows us and tells us the need, not just for the dollars, but for this space, for the people that are looking to engage our young people during those out of school time hours. With that information, the state said, well, let's go ahead and do this again in 2025. Although we are in a budget impasse right now, we are still hopeful that the proposed 10 million on top of the 11 million will be allocated for Pennsylvania's out of school time space, giving us over $20 million for out of school time programs in PA. Again, if I had the widget here to clap, I definitely will be showing big appreciation and just the possibilities that we know that this space can be, that this space is, not can be, that this space is. And now the attention that's here to say, let's pour into these programs. We look at federal support for 21st century for out of school time. There is only one federal funding stream that comes to Pennsylvania for out of school time, and that's through the 21st Century Community Learning Centers, or 21st CCLC. Currently, right now in the state of Pennsylvania, we have about 123 programs that are operating under that funding. understanding that in the federal budget for 2026, 21st century dollars are zero. If we get into the deets of that, it's actually been rolled into a block grant, which now opens up, and I don't want to get into that rabbit hole. But the bottom line is, if our education and awareness efforts aren't ramped up, we're not finding these local champions and meeting with our legislators to talk about the importance, this money from the federal government could go away, closing the 123 programs that are currently in operation, and more programs to come if those dollars were to be extended. So again, state funding, 11, federal funding, 0 proposed moving into 2026. Takes us to the need for sustainable funding, right? So back to the waiting list of the amount of youth here in Pennsylvania that would stay after school, that will come out on a weekend, that will go to a program before school. Like, our students are speaking. They're speaking with their feet. They're showing up, but the doors are closed or they're being turned away because there's just not enough space. What is the role? What is our public, what is the role of the public will? How can we continue to educate and bring awareness to this space? We have to start to build the awareness around out of school time. Again, the jargon or the language used could throw some people off not knowing. So maybe saying OST is not the best approach in your opening conversation and looking for a champion, but actually saying what it is, out of school time. We are building awareness around our Lights On After School. This event is nationwide, but we ask everyone here in Pennsylvania on Wednesday, October 23rd, 2025, to turn your lights on, either in your business, around industry, and even your home. The lights on symbolizes that because the regular school day has ended, doesn't mean learning has to stop ending. So we're encouraging our students that when the lights are on, we're available. We need to look at fostering the collaboration, right? So what I can tell you in my journey through out of school time, so across state consultation with programs, direct service, working directly with programs, sitting on the couches of these parents, sitting in the classrooms of these teachers, sitting in the administrative meetings to find out what's happening. There are a lot of resources and they're kind of all out there, but we're failing to connect those dots. And that's where the network comes in. This is where we come in to help convene and help connect those dots, to build champions, to bring awareness to high quality out of school time programming. I'll touch a little bit more on that as we start to wind down as well. But I also wanted to highlight the importance of elevating our youth voice in this process and in our advocacy efforts. The next couple of slides, I'm going to just whip through a few pictures where our students, we convene our out of school time programs once a year down at the Harrisburg State Capitol. We set and schedule visits for those students to meet their local legislators to talk about the impact of out of school time. And then we hold a rally or a press conference on the steps where we give the students the microphone. Nothing like giving the students the microphone. Nothing's rehearsed. Everything is authentic. Again, there will be some resources shared with you where you can actually watch that happen all in action. But for the next couple of slides are some pictures of our students practicing and preparing for their leadership skills. Before I jump into those slides, After School Education and Awareness Day will be May 6th, 2006 at the Harrisburg State Capitol, starting at 10 o'clock and ending at noon. More information to follow. I would love to include, collaborate, partner with anyone in their organization on here to make sure that this event is successful for our youth and our community. So I'm going to go ahead now and just scroll through a couple slides. That's our Lieutenant Governor, Austin Davis. Big shout out to the Shapiro and Davis administration for their support of children, youth, and families across the Commonwealth, particularly championing the Boost program for out-of-school time programs. You'll see some of our students here. This is after a long day, so if you don't see the big bright smiley faces, we had them up and down the steps a few times. And I believe this is after lunch, so we'll give them big credit for just staying on top of those 2 feet. More of our youth here talking about the impact that after-school program has had on their lives, whether it's in their community or whether it's in their academic journey. But they are our biggest advocates in this space. So again, we will offer some follow-up resources where you will have access to just not these pictures, but the actual live videos. That's what's happening here. So we hope for you to take some time and go a little bit deeper than beyond today's lunch and learn to learn about out-of-school time through the network. So how can you help? How can you help? We need you to champion. We need you to seek out an out-of-school time program in your community. Find out how you can help. It's not always monetary, right? When we help, we can do this by volunteering. We can do this either through our companies or our organizations, or just through our knowledge of being responsible to share resources in championing the out-of-school time space. That involves partnership, right? Look for a way that we can partner with your out-of-school time programs, again, sharing those resources, and then advocate and educate. Again, May 6th is our large convening and gathering. I invite you all to come out and help support our students on that day. And from here, I will take any questions that anyone may have.
Thank you, Director Armour. If you have any questions, you can please place those in the chat. And we'll read them off. Enjoying how creative the organizations have been in out-of-school time. It's really great to even hear about how you're using the out-of-school time to create that career path of teachers and even maybe potentially paraprofessionals. I think that's brilliant. So it's really great to hear that that's happening.
Thank you. Yes, and talking to those regular school day educators, they are so grateful as well for students to be able to take what's happening during the bell or during the regular school day and put it into some type of action or even just a reflection during the out of school time space. It's been actually pretty powerful.
I think that's great. Any questions? I could see that being a great, because the relationship's already there with them already being there with the out of school time. And so I can see how that's really effective of just folding right in, within that, the educational community. So it's really great. Okay.
Thank you. And thank those teachers for their extended time during their regular school day to visit the after school programs and be part of it. We do know that relationship during after school does carry over into the regular school day. And we do have great research to support not only students wanting to come to school, so increasing school attendance. Out of school time has the power to increase regular school day attendance, but also, again, just that relationships where students feel welcomed and engaged with their teachers.
We have not necessarily a question, but a comment. Comments are absolutely welcome too, by the way. So feel free to leave comments and questions. Alika Almeida, I have a youth-led leadership program with student ambassadors that I can present this to. Advocacy work is a part of our Youth Leadership Advisory Board program. I would love to learn ways we can partner. That's Alika Almeida, Youth Infusion Executive Director. Thank you, Alika. Students from our program will be podcasting soon, so we can definitely have youth-led podcasting to elevate the messaging. Great. So I don't know, Director Armour, if you want to leave your email address here, or Kelly, if you can put that in the chat, that would be great. However you want to leave your contact information, that would also be great. How can folks, there you go.
Excellent, excellent. Yes, so on your screen right now, you'll see the QR code to the PSAYDN website. I encourage you to get on the website, sign up as a member, costs nothing. It'll include you in our monthly digest and all of our e-news and e-blasts that go out of when our events are happening, when we're looking to highlight a youth group or a program. Very interested in things that are already happening for sure, and give this platform to the youth to show it off, so to speak. So QR code for our website. Second QR code that you see here is for our Advocacy Day or our Education and Awareness campaign. So again, I'm really encouraging you all to not just make this a one-stop here for lunch, but follow us for the next couple of months on these sessions here and hear what our programs are up to and how they're offering safe and enrichment spaces and activity for our students. And then, yes, I will end with the thank you. In after-school programs, make the future brighter. Can't say it any better than the young lady holding that sign. And again, I want to thank the commission for this opportunity to talk about Pennsylvania's out-of-school time space, and looking for new members from this group and looking to engage you all in the future. Thank you very much. Thank you all for what you do, and I look forward to crossing paths again soon.
Thank you so much, Director Armour. Just another comment here from one of our PHRC, our Reach Coordinators, Brittany Mellinger. Thank you so much for what you do, for the work you're in creating supportive learning spaces through the OST program as a working parent. And I can second that motion, who relies on before and after school care to work. I'm really glad to have your leadership in fostering these resources for our kids. Thank you. Appreciate your time and hard work. Thank you. More thank yous, more thank yous, more thank yous, more thank yous, more thank yous. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you so much, Director Armour. It was really great for you to share your time and share your efforts that you're doing throughout the Commonwealth. Out of school time is so important for our youth. A lot of our parents, they're having to go out into the workforce. A lot of the family structure has changed with the, working in the workforce. So that time that we're putting into our youth is so important outside of the school hours. So thank you for sharing that information with us today. It was so valuable. So we appreciate you being with us today. And also your colleague, Kelly, who's here with us. Kelly, so thank you, Kelly Swanson, for being with us. We appreciate you too.